Welcome to another episode of Driven to Lead, the leadership podcast dedicated to empowering current and emergent leaders throughout Cobb County. I'm Dr. Jackie McMorris, Cobb County's manager. Today we'll be joined by Jim Harner, Cobb's Chief Human Resources Officer, and Kimberly Lemley, Cobb's Chief Information Officer. Together we'll explore how leadership plays a vital role in shaping employee engagement and retention. From cost of living and merit increases to wellness programs, our recognition programs, new policies, and so much more. We'll discuss how these initiatives reflect leadership's commitment to supporting and investing in you, our workforce. All righty, so let's get started. Jim.
Yes, ma'am.
And Kimberly, we understand that the board did adopt some new policies just recently, but so I want to talk a little bit about how that ties into leadership, right? Sure. So we often set the tone as directors, the county manager, ADs, department managers, or supervisors on how employees feel valued. And I know that that takes a lot of time and work. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times our employees they feel like they're not valued. So what does this 2% COLA do you think means to the employees, and how does that show them that we do value them?
Sure, thank you. Good to be here this morning.
Thank you for being here.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, we are very thankful and appreciate that the Board of Commissioners did approve not only a merit increase for this coming year, but also a COLA. Mm-hmm. COLA, as you know, stands for Cost of Living Adjustment, and I think it's pretty well known that prices aren't staying the same on things out there. So I'd say, first of all, it's a recognition of that fact, of what employees and their families are facing. So it is this year, fortunately, a COLA plus a merit. Mm-hmm. And the 2% COLA is for any employee who is in a graded or step position.
Full-time and part-time.
Full and part-time, correct. Who's not already outside their range. There are a few employees who are a little bit above their range because of previous adjustments, and they would not receive it until they're back in their range or at their step. But for the vast majority of employees, it means there's a potential to get a total of 5% increase in their annual pay.
2% COLA and up to 3% merit.
That's correct. That's
right?
how it breaks down. Yeah.
Right.
So
I want to go back to what you said in terms of thanking the Board of Commissioners. We're very grateful, very appreciative. This is the first COLA I believe we've had in years. Right. That being said, we also were down about 3% in our digest projections. Right. So in the middle of receiving less within our digest, this board showed commitment, right? Leadership showed commitment to investing in our employees, even when we were down in the areas of construction, whether it's commercial or residential. Right. So we're very thankful for that. Right. So that does mean a lot. Let's talk a little bit about merit increases, and it's tied to performance. How do you think these incentives encourage and help us to show that we are engaged, and again, in trying to invest in our employees? Right. I know that it's a lot of work to do those performance appraisals, but why is that so important that they do them?
Absolutely. Recognizing employees' individual contributions and how they perform versus the standards of their particular job is very important. Mm-hmm. High achieving employees who accomplish a lot deserve a little bit greater rewards than others that haven't been able to do that. So you got both factors tied to the performance and, again, the COLA. So it's very important to not take achievement out of the equation.
Right, and it's also important to have what we call progress discussions. Sure. We have 2 a year. 1 is required. Right. And during those progress discussions, we want our evaluators, our supervisors, to understand that providing feedback is critical. Right. Course correction is critical. So that's why we have 2 opportunities to sit down and discuss with our employees how they're performing, to understand what their goals are and where they want to be within the organization. And more importantly, how can we help you achieve what not only has to be achieved as part of your essential functions, but where you want to go and grow within the organization.
Absolutely.
And that's important. So one of the questions that I've received is, why are we waiting until March of next year to implement both the COLA and the merit. You want to address that?
Sure. Well, we do that in March on a regular basis. So, and as you said, it's important to tie at least part of potential increases to performance. You mentioned progress discussions. Those are very important, and while they are time consuming for supervisors to do and for employees to track, it's important for employees that maybe aren't on track or need some course correction, as you said, to know that and not know that at the end of the year.
That's right.
But know that as they go along. By the same token, if an employee is doing something well, we'd like to point that out, congratulate them, and not wait till the end of the year to do that. But as far as the increases, again, since it's tied to performance, that's why we want to do it at the end of the performance cycle.
And we want people to be encouraged by that.
Right.
You can get up to 5%
Right.
if you score within certain ranges to
Yes.
get the maximum within, which is 3%, which
Right.
is within the performance evaluations,
Right.
and the 2% COLA is guaranteed.
Right.
So we encourage people to work toward getting that 5%.
Sure.
We encourage you to get that.
Absolutely.
So in addition to the COLA, in addition to merit, the county offers other incentives, right? What we
Absolutely.
call perks. You want
Right.
to talk a little bit about that? Because
Right.
sometimes we forget or take for granted that it's not always about the money.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, as far as compensation and recognition, there's a lot more than just salary and benefits. Of course, we've been talking about annual income or salary, and we have a great benefits package that's very cost effective and competitive. Again, we benchmark those things, pay and benefits on a regular basis with the market, if you will. We want to have the most talented, and I think we do, employees
I agree.
come on board with Cobb, but as important as that is, we want to keep them as well. And so we're constantly testing the market on compensation and benefits. But as you said, in addition to that, there's other perhaps little known perks that are out there. We're part of a group called Perk Place that provides different perks out there. The Housing Authority provides down payment assistance. That's another factor. We have a great wellness program that
We do.
I consider a perk, the CobbWell Rewards program, where full-time employees who are in our health plan can get up to $200 a year in incentives for doing certain wellness-based things. I know I need to do more of that.
I
Right.
started out doing really well in that space, and then
Right.
I forget to go, and I got to log it in
Right.
order to get the credit for it. But that is a great program.
Sure. And we have
Yeah.
other programs. In fact, there's several exciting ones coming up. Of course, Employee Appreciation Days at the
Yeah.
Fairgrounds is coming up in September, on September 20th and the 23rd, so that
Right.
folks that work different shifts can participate in that. That's a great program.
Right. So everyone should have already registered, because
Right.
the deadline is closed to register.
Correct.
But you should already have your tickets, and we look forward to having
Right.
everybody out there. It is an awesome
It is.
way. It's so focused on family,
Right.
and everybody gets to see. Just almost like a family reunion where we get to come together and we see some people that we don't often see across
Yeah.
departments, right? Except for maybe once a year.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And it's a great opportunity for leaders in the county to serve their employees.
That's
I mean,
true.
literally serve things to their
Right,
employees. So
right.
it's a great opportunity, and it's a lot of fun. We also have, right before that, the Wellness and Benefits Fair.
Talk to me a little bit about that. What's
Sure.
that about?
Sure, that's where different vendors that participate in our benefits and wellness. We have lunch there, and they have different tables set up, and a lot of times there's giveaways and that kind of thing. A lot of fun. It's from 11 to 2 on Thursday the 18th.
And we appreciate our vendors who come and talk a little bit about
Right.
what they have to offer. Again, we often take for granted that
Yeah.
we know everything that's going on. We have financial planning. We have partnerships with different financial institutions
Credit
to help
unions.
our employees understand the benefits of investing.
Right.
So you can take that 2% COLA and tuck it away and put
Right.
it back, right?
Right.
As part of your investment or your college fund for your kids or a Christmas club. So
Right.
there are many opportunities where
Sure.
you can learn about how to invest
Right.
in Cobb, and we want people to remain here and retire here
Right.
and be a part of our family for a long time.
Exactly.
All righty. Talk a little bit about the props program, and then we're going to talk about these policies. So.
Yeah, sure. Sure, the props program is a recent addition, a great addition.
Yeah.
That's an opportunity to recognize outstanding work in different departments. It's almost always, I believe, a surprise when the
Yes.
person, which adds a fun element to it, of course. And I think I'll get this right. PROPS stands for praise, recognition, ovation, pride, and service. if
You
I'm
got
not
it right.
mistaken.
High five.
Yeah, thanks.
Got it. Go,
All right.
Jim.
I won't
Love
be able to
that.
repeat that, but no, no, it really is a great program,
Right.
and to see the look on folks' faces when they their peers and their leadership come in and surprise. It's almost like remember the old Publishers Clearinghouse? Not
Yes.
quite that, maybe,
Yes.
but it's fun.
Surprise.
Yeah, it's great.
With the big check and all.
It's a
Sorry,
great-
no big check.
Yeah.
But it is important that we, on a regular basis, recognize our employees for the above and beyond, the great things, the extraordinary things that they do to help other departments
Right.
across the county,
Sure.
to help their own teammates within their own department, and it means a lot for us to be able to do that, and we're grateful to have the funds to be able to
Sure.
do that. But you have to nominate people, though,
Yes.
right? So we're encouraging our employees to nominate your coworkers or self-nominate, so we can be aware and share with
Right.
everybody across the county what it is you're doing that's above and beyond an outstanding work.
Catch somebody doing something right, and there's a
Yes.
lot of it.
Yeah, because we tend to want to, tattle on things that
Sure.
we see people doing not right.
Right.
Right?
Sure.
So why not tattle on somebody who's doing something right? I love that. That
Absolutely.
is so cool. All righty, so let's talk a little bit about some of the policies that the board just adopted. Several of them were just minor tweaks, right? Grammatical things,
Right.
just some updates. But there were two
Yeah.
that are different and or significant.
Sure.
Let's talk about this new dress code policy.
Sure.
What is it?
Sure, absolutely. Workplace attire. And we've long had, of course, dress standards in individual departments. And there'll always be individual standards based on the type of work that's being done, how forward-facing the department is with customers and citizens, those kind of things. So we recognize there'll be differences in department. Yet I know you, and we talked about this, felt strongly that we should at least have some kind of overarching basic standards, and folks should understand that this workplace attire policy that's been newly adopted, as you said, is for non-uniformed employees who work in an office environment, or if they're working remotely, are participating in video conferences and that kind of thing.
Right.
So that's what it applies to. If you're uniformed or you work outside, then you have a totally different thing. This is for the employees, again, that are non-uniformed and work in an office environment. And it's really some of the basic standards, making sure our clothing's not ripped and torn, making sure that it covers it as it should.
Professionally dressed.
That's right, professionally dressed. So it's a good thing so the employees always know that these are kind of the basic standards. And then in departments there may be some tweaks there.
Right. And I think we kind of coined it as dress for your day, right?
Yes.
So if and Kim, I talked to you a little bit about this, in ITS, that your guys are underneath desks and they're hooking up,
Sure.
equipment for people. We wouldn't expect that they would have on their Sunday best to come to work to do that. However, there's nothing wrong with having a jacket or something in your office. So if for whatever reason someone shows up or impromptu, you got to go to a meeting with someone, from the outside or commissioners or whatever, you can, throw that on and do what you have to do.
Definitely.
So dress for your day is just planning.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I know, for instance, that just as an example, I dress differently on days I'm conducting an interview than I might if I'm just, working on a spreadsheet, for
Right.
instance. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Kim, you want to jump in on that and talk a little bit about what Dress for Your Day might mean for some of our employees in your department or in support services?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, for us, you're exactly right. We have groups that are crawling around under desks, crawling on ladders, going up in ceilings, pulling cable. And so, jeans and tennis shoes may be appropriate for them for that day. But, our standard office worker who never necessarily leaves their computer, just business attire, business professional. We also, with the county allowing remote work, we want to make sure that the workplace attire extends to those virtual
That's right.
meetings as well, because you don't want somebody, when you're in a virtual meeting, you don't want to see somebody in their pajamas, and their hair messed up. And so that's an important part for us, because we are in a lot of virtual meetings. So making sure
Right.
that even though you're at home or you're, remote, that it extends to the virtual world as well.
Right. So before we go to the next policy, just an opinion question. You mentioned virtual work, and we have a lot of Teams meetings, right? WebExes or Zooms. What do y'all think about cameras off? I know it's not a policy, but just what do you think? Cameras on or off when you in a meeting like that? It depends.
It does sometimes depend on the type of meeting. So in some situations, for us, we have some training or something like that that's being done, and the actual instructor prefers the camera off, just
Right.
so there's no distractions and you're focused. But for me, in our monthly managers meetings that we have, we've enforced a new policy of cameras on all the time. You just
Right.
want to see their face,
Right.
and there's things that you miss in not being able to see facial expressions, but you're
Right.
just you miss that.
Right.
And so I wouldn't require it for every single meeting, but there are certain meetings where it's important to have the camera on.
I agree. Jim,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Kimberly. I think that it depends on the cadence of the meeting, if you will. Certainly in a situation where maybe there's a presenter doing 90% of the talking, may or may not be necessary for everybody to have their cameras on the whole time. However, leaving your camera on and knowing how to operate that unmute button is
Very
important to
important.
keep meetings within a time frame, because how often does it happen that Jim's got his camera off and his button off, and somebody asks Jim a question and
Trying to figure out.
fumbling around. So it's important if you're going to be participating, I think.
Awesome.
Sure.
Thank you. All right. So let's talk about Narcan. That
Right.
was another policy, a new
Sure.
policy
Sure.
that the board adopted.
It is very important, and recently the state legislature passed what's called Wesley's Law, which mandates that schools and other public buildings, courthouses, have Narcan on hand. And Narcan is you all may know that it is an opioid neutralizer, per se. I'm
Okay.
using layman terms here. But certainly if someone has taken opioids and is having, of course, a bad reaction, Narcan can be a lifesaver.
Right.
And the law, of course, has safeguards built in, sort of Good Samaritan things, if you will, just like with CPR, that folks would not be held liable if they make a good faith effort. So those places, which of course we have, public buildings, of course, and courthouses, must have Narcan on hand, and we do, and have for quite some time. And then we've since established the policy that was recently approved. Yes.
Thank you. And so it is important that employees know where the Narcan is located within your office, but it can be a lifesaver. It can make the difference
Absolutely.
between saving a life. And we do have people coming into our facilities, our
Yes.
public facilities, and we don't always know.
Right.
So that was a good one. All righty, so let's turn to cybersecurity and AI. So, and what's going on with this whole duo thing?
Yes, ma'am. So much like the HR policies, we had our IT policy and suite of standards approved approved as well. We had a lot of minor edits to the overall, to the documents, but there are two big changes. One, in our policy, we are implementing the use of multi-factor authentication when you are on site and at the county and you're using really any county technology resource. So previously that was for remote access and a few other situations, but cybersecurity is absolutely critical, and we say it all the time, it's everybody's responsibility. It's not just IT's responsibility, and this is one more layer of security for our county to protect us from the bad actors and the threat actors that are constantly trying to breach our network, get data. It is a constant battle that our team faces every day, and we have to try to stay 2 steps ahead of the bad actors. And so many of our employees have gotten all the emails talking about the rollout of Duo, and I can promise you it really will become like second nature. We've been doing it for a while in our department, and it sounds bad, it sounds like it's an inconvenience, but the bigger inconvenience is when there is a cybersecurity attack and we have to be down for days, or it could be just disaster. So we appreciate everybody's understanding and patience as we roll this out. It's not going to be a perfectly smooth process. We know we'll have some bumps in the road, but we hope to have it rolled out by the end of September to every county department. The second big change in our policies is the addition of the artificial intelligence acceptable use standards. So what that is it outlines how we as a county can use AI responsibly and ethically. So a couple of the key takeaways from the standard are the ethical use of it and transparent use. So citing your work. If you're using AI to create some sort of work product, you want to make sure that you clearly state that. And also the oversight required, the human oversight. AI is not perfect. It is wrong a lot. It will present facts it will present what we call hallucinations. So it'll present hallucinations like it is fact. So it's not true. And so humans have to look and do their own research to ensure that what you're getting back from AI is actually fact and truth. And we also talk about in the standard data protection and protecting the data, not just putting in personal identifying information into an AI tool or generative AI kind of tool like ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, putting that stuff in there. That puts our data out on the internet, and we have to protect our data. That is our job. And so we want to make sure that people understand the importance of what you're putting in there. And then also we outline the training and awareness of AI tools. We're going to be offering some AI training through our training system, our cybersecurity training system. Hopefully by the end of the year. We're not going to make it mandatory necessarily, but it will be there for people that are interested in AI and the use of AI. And we want everybody to understand that these standards are not about policing the use of AI. We just want to provide the guardrails for people to feel comfortable in using AI. We don't want to stifle any innovation. We want to give employees the confidence to explore it, but know that there are some guidelines that you have to follow, and that you have a support system in the IT department to be able to call if you have questions, call our call center, email our call center, and we're happy to help. And if we can't answer it right away, we'll find the person that can and reach back out to you.
Thank you so much. You all have shared some invaluable information, and I appreciate you being here today. Any follow-up or last words you would like to share with our employees about what we're talking about today? Anything?
Sure. Can I go ahead?
Yeah,
right. So Yeah, first of all, I want to thank everybody, and again, Dr. McMorris, thanks for this opportunity for us to share and highlight a few things. This is a great platform to do so. I would just tell all our employees, first of all, thank you for being part of the team, and again, we try to do what we can to recognize all of our employees, but we can always do better. So we certainly welcome ideas about how we can enhance programs, enhance existing programs, new things we can do. Doesn't mean we can do them all at once. We all know there's budgets and things like that that get in the way of that. But nevertheless, we do welcome feedback, and we appreciate everyone being on the Cobb team.
Thank you, Jim. Kim?
Yeah, I think for me, I want our employees to know that as leaders, that your growth and well-being is very important to us. It's not just something that we do, it's really the foundation of everything. All of these programs, incentives, it's the foundation of everything that we do, and we want our employees to feel empowered. We want their professional and personal well-being taken care of. And when you feel that way as an employee, you thrive, you know, professionally and personally, and we don't succeed unless you succeed. So we just appreciate everything that you do, and thank you again, Dr. McMorris, for this opportunity.
Absolutely. You guys just rock.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Well, this wraps up today's conversation on how leadership drives engagement, retention, and a thriving workplace culture, as articulated so well by our guests today. So a big thank you to Jim and to Kimberly for sharing their insights, and to all of you for tuning in. Remember, leadership isn't just about policy. It's about people, connection, and creating an environment where employees feel valued and supported. So don't forget to subscribe to Driven to Lead and share this episode with your co-workers and friends so we can continue growing leadership excellence together. So drop a comment below this video, and you could win some Driven to Lead swag. So until next time, take care.